everyone. Well, afternoon to everyone. This is College Coaching Network, and today we're excited to start a new podcast that is called The Scholarship Scene. So, with us today, we have these beautiful ladies from J.E. Dunn because they're going to talk about the scholarship opportunity and the work that they do in the community with the students. So, of course, I'm Mikka, and this is Claude, our founder and CEO. Hey. I'm going to turn it over to Claude so he can get us started so we can talk about what J.E. Dunn is doing in the community and how you can connect to be able to get a scholarship from them.
Yeah, definitely. So I am grateful for the partnership and the sponsorship that we have with J.E. Dunn. They are amazing. When they came in, they really looked at everything we were doing. I felt like there was synergy between what J.E. Dunn stands for in the community and also what College Coaching Network is looking to accomplish. So Nikisha actually came in and she looked at everything. She asked us a ton of questions about our program. She is extremely detailed. And then she has a beautiful, make sure you give me your name one more time. Soraya. I love the name.
Thank you.
Yeah, Soraya is here. So I want Nikisha to tell us a lot about, and I always said Nikisha, but do you go off of Keisha?
Yeah,
or
Keisha.
All right, that'll work. I got a cousin named Keisha. So Keisha, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because we were fortunate enough to get an award together. And I want you, and you're so humble, but the award was an award because of what you've done in the community and you've been serving the community well. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into wanting to give back so much to the community? And then Soraya, I would love for you to do the same.
Sure. No, it was just a pleasure just to connect with you, Claude, just to learn about the College Coaching Network and what it does. And so immediately in my role at J.E. Dunn Construction as a diversity inclusion manager, we're constantly looking for ways to just be in the community more, innovate. How do we not only give back, but how do we get more minorities and women involved in the construction industry? And so obviously, again, when we connected, it just felt really good that we had that synergy there with regards to being able to eliminate barriers, if you will, with regards to folks trying to get through the process. And I had shared with you a funny story of my own personal experience going through it at the time with my son. And again, really just, and again, my seat that I sit in, just targeting those students of color and women because they typically have the biggest gaps and barriers to be able to go through processes like college application and things like that successfully. So it just made a lot of sense, especially with us trying to target those communities to make sure that they understand the construction process and how do you get involved, whether you're wanting to be in skilled trades or whether, you want to be a project manager or an engineer. So just a great partnership. Glad that we found each other. Glad that, we're able to do this work in our community to make sure that folks have access.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, so I'm Soraya Rollins. I am the Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion with J.E. Dunn. I've been with the company for just about 14 months. Prior to joining J.E. Dunn, I was with the Port Authority, Kansas City. I was there for about 12 years, really focused on economic development, making communities more equitable. So this is something that I'm really passionate about and really to connecting with the communities. And like Keisha said, removing barriers. I'm a mother. I have a 16-year-old, so I can relate. I understand, and I'm grateful for this type of work that you're doing. So just very happy to be here and to always look for opportunities that we can provide more to the community.
I did not know, Mikka, you have something to say, but I did not know she has such a wonderful accent. She came in and I was like, she said just a little bit, and I'm like, and then she starts talking, I'm like, man, her accent is beautiful. So I'm going to throw this next question back to you, Soraya, and then can you tell me where you're from to have this wonderful accent? Mm-hmm. And then you are involved in the community just like Keisha is. So like what happened in your childhood that got you thinking about wanting to give back as an adult?
Wow. So I'll tell you. So I'm from the Dominican Republic. Moved to New York when I was 12 years old. No English at all. So, it's Spanish. So I have a combination of Dominican and then New Yorker, I guess, accent. And then have been here in Kansas City since in 2002. And I'll tell you, it was a shock for me moving here, and not having as much diversity as, growing up in New York. And I found myself in a lot of places where I was the only one, and woman, person of color, Hispanic with an accent, you name it. But one thing I will tell you is that as I've more seasoned professional,
yes.
I realized that I want to do more. It's not about me. It's about also others that you can bring along and help. And unfortunately, sometimes we realize that when we're more into our career and not younger. But that's something that I'm very passionate. And one of the things I'll tell you is that youth is something that I'm really, really driven. Connection development, probably because I'm a mother, I have a teenager, but always been wanting to do more in the community. So
I love it. Mikka, go ahead. I can hear your brain click.
Right. So I think the thing I want to ask is that, of course, of being with J.E. Dunn, both of you beautiful ladies being women of color, and when we think of the construction industry, we think of just hard hats, men with power tools, and they're working on things. That's the typical stigma that you think of when it comes to synonymous hearing J.E. Dunn as a company. And both of you ladies obviously work for them at a different capacity. So can you kind of break some of those myths about the construction world? Because both of you ladies went to college, are doing the diversity and inclusion with a construction company. So can you kind of break down some of those myths? Because it may be a student out there that may not even thought of this as being a career path option.
I'll start and I'll pass it to Keisha because she's really more focused in that work. But I'll tell you that back when I was looking into getting what I was going to do, going to college, my interest was civil engineering. And my father said, no, that's a men's job. And, being in construction engineering, it was a men's job. And I didn't go for it because of that. That was years ago. But what I'm saying is now, knowing what I know, that there's so many. I mean, first of all, I could have been anything that I wanted, right? But there's so many faces or so many opportunities within construction that I wish I would have known that back then. But
no, I mean, and I'm just my unique background in construction. Started working in construction when I was actually 16 in the mailroom and fileroom at J.E. Dunn. I had no idea what J.E. Dunn was, what they did or anything, but my uncle at the time was actually in construction, and he worked for one of the subcontractors actually J.E. Dunn worked with all the time. And so when he learned about my opportunity to work for the company, he was like, that's what you want to do. He said, go there, work with them. Even if it was for a summer, I think he just saw, the opportunity there versus your typical high school summer jobs that I was probably going to land in, right? And so 27 years later, I'm still with the organization, and I'll say that I've just really learned on the job. Did I think I was going to be there, 20 years plus later at 16? No. But being engulfed in the atmosphere and, around construction, just learning so much, and it being something totally different from my day to day, just really, has kept my interest over the years. And now just, an amazing passion, like Zariah shared, to just make sure that other students know about it, and just people in general, about those opportunities in construction. Like you mentioned, we have marketing managers, we have accountants, we have attorneys, IT professionals. We love technology. So if you're into technology, check out construction. I'm serious. Like, you would be surprised the opportunities there and the ways that you can just really get into that industry and be innovative.
Yeah, we recently, so this will be our second year doing this National Diversity Scholarships Internships. And just recently, when we had our first group, it was amazing to hear them say, we didn't know that there was so much opportunity within construction. And they were asking us, can you do more of these conversations and education, at a high school level? And because people have a misconception and just educating more. And that's something that Keisha also is very active on doing, a lot, connecting at the high school and younger. Yeah.
Even younger if we can, for sure. Yeah. And we've had some success over the years, even with, employing high school students in our office, again, just to give them that exposure, to what construction is, and hopefully they catch the bug and, want to learn more and with it. And we've had some success there. And those that didn't go into construction, we feel like we were at least a part of their success and being able to be a mentor to them in whatever they decided to do. So.
You're giving a perfect segue into the scholarship, but I want to, before we go into, actually I want to do this twice. Let's talk about the scholarship, and then I want to talk about the type of person you guys are looking to possibly award the scholarship to. So can you give us a little bit about how the scholarship was established, and then who you're looking for.
I think so. We were talking about it for a couple of years, and we wanted to see what was the best way to go about it. And we established a scholarship. This is something I will tell you. Our president of the company, our CEO, Gordon, as for he is so sincere, intentional, and passionate about this work, and he understands really the innovation and the connection and the need for the to building right younger generation into this industry. So we developed the scholarship program. It is a $5,000 for 2 years. It's for 2 years, so $2,500 the first year, $2,500 the second year. However, it comes with a paid internship. So it's not just a scholarship. You get a paid internships for 2 years. Yeah, for 2 years. So that makes a big difference when you are, especially last year, we saw a lot of companies pulling back their internship programs. Not us. We were committed. We're very engaging, and it's giving them hands-on experience, right? That's one of the things that we did. So it's a $5,000, $2,500 each year for 2 years, paid internship. We're looking for students of color. We are looking for in the field of construction engineering interest, and it is rising sophomores. So it means that there will be juniors by the time that they get the scholarship, because we want them to be for 2 years. And I'll tell you, we tried this year, I would say over 90% of our diverse students got offers as well. Over that, I want to say, maybe but over 90% got offers, job offers as well. So that is a great opportunity. We want to really to connect with our students. So we had a session where we brought them to Kansas City in person and just have relationships with them. And our CEO, our chief financial officer, chief people officer were there with all of them, getting to connect. So I think it's a great program. They can apply at jedunn.com/National Diversity Scholarship. And the applications are open until October 15th.
October 15th. And we got a long link that we'll share, make sure everybody has that. But the internships too, I just want to piggyback on what Zerai said about those, was that was very intentional too as a part of this, because we also noticed that a lot of diverse students didn't have internships on their resumes. So when they were competing against counterparts, that was something that often knocked diverse students out because they didn't have opportunity for those internships. So that piece there was very intentional with that in mind, to make sure that we're hopefully trying to close that gap there as well.
I love it. One of the things I just want to hit on the internships, because a lot of times students don't understand opportunity cost, right? So when we talk about opportunity cost, like if you go to a school for 2 years and get your associate's degree, and then you move up to a 4-year school, or if you go to a 4-year out the gate, and then you don't use that degree for the intended purposes in which you received it, but then you end up going over into another profession. I mean, this could be a profession where you can go from high school possibly into. So can you talk about those students that may not go the traditional route, but they may want to go into looking at an internship and going into the construction trade, because a lot of students don't know that they have options?
Yeah, so I mean, right out of high school, as you know, students can go right into apprenticeship programs. With regards to skill trades, to your point, there's a ton of different trades you can choose from, whether it's carpenter or bricklayer, cement mason, etc. There are a ton of those options, and greatest thing about it, you earn while you learn. So in this situation, you don't pay to go to school; they pay you to go to school, and you're also employed. So great benefits too with regards to those different job opportunities in the skilled trade. So no, you're right, Clyde. It's a great opportunity for students that maybe love to work with their hands, or maybe just already naturally gifted in that regard. I meet a ton of people like that already. They love that work, and so we definitely need to fill that pipeline as well. It's an aging pipeline, is what we've learned. People love it and they stay in those trades forever, but obviously we've got to backfill those pipelines with some young folks that want to stay in construction for years to come, supervising that work, helping to put it in place, and obviously doing it all with safety top of mind. So yes, skilled trades definitely opportunity, and I'll say that's really where we hit a lot of our high school students, with that first, especially since you have the trend now where everyone is not so college focused. So it's a great opportunity. Again, you earn while you learn, and really encourage students to take a look at that as an option.
And you guys are not paying minimum wage. Like, go ahead, Mikka.
Right. Look, you're headed the same. So when you just mentioned about some students not considering college, which we are seeing that a trend, because you look at your Mark Zuckerbergs and your, others that dropped out of college that are multi-millionaires, billionaires at this point. So students are taking non-traditional paths. And so I think that sometimes students don't have access to know what all is there and available. So can you kind of talk to what the average pay for some of these positions are? Because let's be honest, money is a motivator. So let's talk about that. And again, you talked about a lot of these positions, those that have been doing it for years are aging out, which means there's a more demand for people to fill these positions, and demand equals dollars.
Yes, it does.
So can you talk to what kind of like the average salary that some of these roles are?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, one of the apprenticeship programs we work with here locally, some of the data that they share with us is a laborer apprentice right now is making around $20 an hour.
And that's entry level. Make sure everyone knows apprentice is entry level
at $20 an hour.
$20 an hour.
Yeah. And that's for labor. So I mean, again, you're talking more of a skilled trade, which you're thinking of an iron worker or maybe a carpenter. Those are much higher wages that you will earn in those roles. So no, I mean, you're right. It's definitely a livable wage. It's not a job. I'll say it's just not a job. It's a career. There are plenty of people that have raised families off of these salaries and just off the opportunities in construction. So yeah, nothing to shake your head at, Mikka. I'm glad you brought that up.
For sure. You have a flyer
Yes.
that shows a roadmap of the options, and we can provide that.
For sure.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yes. So you said it's a $5,000 scholarship. It's $2,500 for 2 years, and they get an internship, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a 90% placement.
I think it was over 90% that we had really very intentional, of course, performance, right? You have to perform and be able to, but I think it was over 90% that we got to meet offers. And this is really across, it's nationwide, which means is that if there's someone here in the Kansas City market or Missouri, but wants to apply for something in Atlanta or something, we can, depending on the need, we can work that as well.
That is awesome.
That's
awesome, right?
Construction's everywhere. That's another thing too. I think it's a great seller, for people, especially if you want to travel and just meet people all the time. We follow the work, and they construction's everywhere. So I mean, if that's something you're interested in, again, I definitely say think about it as an option.
And I'll tell you, we have one of our he's a friend, and he is Marcus. He started as an intern, and this has been his only job, and he's been with the company for I think over 16 years. So now he's a senior PM, I believe, senior project manager.
He's a mechanical engineer.
Okay, so actually, senior, but he started as an intern, and this is all his whole life, 16 years with the company, young and very, very committed and passionate. Yes. So we do also have what is called employee resource groups. So what those are is groups where we have one for Black employees and one for women. Also, it's a place where we create connection. It's a place where we create a safe space and we provide guidance and mentorship to each other. So Marcus is the chair. He's the lead on this group. And I bring that up because they're very intentional with our interns in just providing that mentorship, kind of really working with them and teaching them about careers within construction within JE Dunn, and just helping them navigate, their time at JE Dunn.
That
Just really being a support system. So
now it's a great support system. So,
Yes.
Keisha, I want to throw this out to you, and I don't know how far in the weeds you want to go with this, but so let's say a student comes in, they get an internship, they're fortunate enough to apply for the scholarship, and maybe they're awarded the scholarship. So now they go into internship and they get into this 90+% of being able to get hired. But let's say a person actually wants to go from being an employee to creating wealth as a business owner, right? So you do a lot of work with minority contractors.
yes.
Can you kind of elaborate even on that arm of what Dunn does in order to help people expand their business horizons?
Sure. No, and the role as well as Ryan, I spend quite a bit of our time working with minority and women contractors, not to exclude veteran-owned, LGBT, et cetera. So I'll say MBE, WBE to be really general. But yeah, just really helping those companies identify opportunities with JE Dunn, and then to your point, helping them navigate that process. You know, it can be pretty overwhelming, you know, if you're a small contractor and you don't know how to bid the work, or who do you talk to first, or how do I even register, things like that. So we spend quite a bit of time developing programming that allows us to build relationships. Well, first identify those contractors in our community, and then develop relationships with them. And doing so, you know, we learn from them what their gaps are in business, and so we're able to kind of help fill those as well. But really, all of our projects that we build, we have a strong desire to be inclusive. So this includes projects that might not be public, or you know, might have a goal attached to it, if you will. So it's our desire to really just develop, you know, a really strong pipeline of those contractors. So every time we've got a job bidding, they know about it, they're bidding on it, and hopefully they're successful being awarded those projects. And again, like I say, just putting programs in place to support them through that. And one specific I'll mention before I be quiet is the Minority Contractor Development Program.
Yeah, you're fine. Keep going. Yeah, we won't.
Yes.
Can you speak up? You got a beautiful voice.
Sure.
Can you speak up just a little bit, because I want to make sure everybody can hear you?
Yeah, the Minority Contractor Development Program.
Yes.
And that's a national program that JE Dunn is invested in, which is free to the contractors that apply and that are selected through an interview process. And we've had the program in as many as 12 cities at one time. So, but really through that, we mentor those those companies. We help them with their back office many times, just really trying to help them get that structure and foundation in place so that they can be more competitive, whether that's helping them with their financing, helping them with their bid process, things like that. Matching them up with mentors that can help them fine tune their marketing, things like that, that we have noticed on our side of the table that would make them much stronger companies, and obviously helps them to win work with us, but you know, also out in the market just with other general contractors and wherever they might be doing business. So that's what that program is in a nutshell. It's 8 months long. It's free again to those that are accepted, and we are the biggest focus with that too is really looking for opportunities with those contractors. So not just to train them and take them through a program, but also, you know, what contracting opportunities do we have that, you know, we can partner with them on. So
I love it. I want to go ahead because I want to go a different direction with the conversation. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I am definitely in awe of learning about all of the different areas of focus that JE Dunn has as a company to be inclusive, but also to develop and cultivate those that's coming up behind the initial founders. Because sometimes we see those situations where companies are just, you know, kind of like me focus. But each one of these programs that you ladies have talked about has been about the development of JE Dunn's people internally, but also the development and cultivation of those outside of JE Dunn, and not just in Kansas City, they're impacting everyone nationally. So I definitely say kudos for that, because I've learned a lot in this short amount of time that I had no clue what JE Dunn was doing. So that is truly amazing.
Thank you. I mean, I'll tell you, and you know, when I accepted the position here, for me, it was because it was very sincere. It was not a check the box type of thing. The initiatives, the intention in regards to having the most diverse, workforce and a very inclusive culture, and being so intentional in the community as well. is very sincere, it's part of who we are, and we know that it's the right thing to do. It makes us better as an employer, makes us better as a community leader, and as a client, as a partner. So we believe in it, and we are, all in.
I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to shift real quick as we get ready to come to an end, but I want to talk about the importance of building relationships with Keisha and Soraya. Make sure I'm saying that right.
Yes, you are.
The importance of building relationships with them because they're on the front ground, right here on the front lines, talking to families, talking to people in the community. And so if you see these young ladies, or if you see this podcast, you want to reach out to them, we'll have the appropriate links for you guys to get out there and apply for this scholarship. Get in contact with them. If you don't get the money, don't end the relationship. Right? There's more opportunities that J.E. Dunn will offer to these beautiful young ladies. So stay in contact. But I just want to talk from a personal story real quick about the importance of relationships. So being, obviously, you can tell by the color of my skin that I'm an African not young, but African, kind of get older. But I will say this, that we see in the African American community that there's still a plight, that there's still a lot of single women that are raising children. And the reason why is because the men are on one side of the equation, but then they're not there on the other side of the equation, which is to be a part of that child's life, to help that child, to nurture that child, and provide for that child, right? And so when you can have the opportunity to go into the construction trade and make a fair wage, actually it's beyond a fair wage.
Beyond.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond a fair wage, to have some pride and self-esteem about yourself, that you are a contributor to society, that you're doing something to give back to your family, to give back to the community, and to actually be a pillar in your own household. That is a void that we see in the marketplace. And so from my own personal standpoint, I was predominantly raised by a single mom. All right. And so my biological father was not there, but I had to learn to get past that hurt. And I reached out and I tried to work on reestablishing a relationship with my father. And so if there's any person that's listening to this, and maybe your dad wasn't a part of your life, you have the power to break that generational cycle by stepping up and building relationships with people like Nikisha and Soraya, that they can actually help you get to that next level. So that's the first one. And the second one is because I went past my own anger and my own hurt, and I reached out, it allowed me to learn about my great uncle, Alex Harris. And because of me learning about my great uncle, it opened the door for me to move into a partnership with J.E. Dunn. Had I not known about him, maybe some of the things that helped open that door may have not opened it. So my point to you is this: your future is predicated on your past. The things that you may have thought that I ain't gonna worry about that, I'm gonna worry about that. They're the very thing that can be hindering you moving to the next level for your future. So if you don't feel like you have the ability to step up and talk to people because you got fear, or you've been rejected, or you don't feel like you're enough, I want you to put all that stuff to bed and step up and go for the future that you deserve and your family deserves. So I just want to push that out there, because those are some things that people that are listening to me have all that going through their mind. And I need you guys to get past that and build a great future for yourself.
Thank you for saying that. That was me. I was very critical in myself. I never thought that I could, that I was good enough. And I was a single mom for a long time. So, but, the connections that I made, and always trying to get better and better, and look where I'm at now. So thank you for saying that.
No worries.
Yeah.
I'll pass it back to you.
Yes. So I think some of the things to take away from here, and I'll go back down, reminding everyone about the scholarship, is that sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's the networking effect, right? Miss Keisha told us she started in the mailroom, and here she is today, amazing. And then Miss Soraya came to the States via New York and wound up in the Midwest, and now is making all these amazing connections and being able to give back and contribute to the community. But again, learn so much about J.E. Dunn, and it shows the heart of the company, because something like this, creating that kind of culture, doesn't start with the people. It starts with the founder. That's the kind of culture that has to be built from the top down. So definitely, honored to be connected and partnered with J.E. Dunn. I know that through this partnership. There's so many lives that will be impacted by the connection and the collaboration. But want to put the reminder out there, and the link is in the comments. Go to jedunn.com/National Diversity Scholarship to apply. It is available through October the 15th. So go on and apply now. Do not wait to the last minute. Remember, that's one of the scholarship tips. Do not wait to the last minute. Apply now. And then there is for rising sophomores. So if you are a sophomore this year, this is a scholarship for you, because you get $5,000 over the next 2 years, and also a paid internship, and an over 90% probability of you getting a full-time career, not job, but career, with taking advantage of the scholarship. So again, go online and apply. And for your parents, families that are out there, they also have the Minority Contract Development Program that is a national program. So if you or someone you know is a contractor, go on and apply for that, because their desire is to give back to the community. And we appreciate you ladies for joining us on the scholarship scene. Clyde, do you have any last comments?
Yes. The only thing that I want to say is they will have a booth here at our college fair. Our college fair is September the 21st from 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Is free to the public. We are on 107.3. We should be on KPRS. I talked over to Kevin Holmes, so he said he's coming down with channel 41, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got a lot of publicity. I think we have over 300 registrations from various high schools, and we just got, I think, another 50 from a school we just went to. So we got 7 more high schools to go to. A lot of work. We're giving a lot of brownies and all the other good stuff, honey buns and all that. So if you want to come to the scholarship fair, go to collegecoachingnetwork.com. Go to the tab that says College Fair, and you'll be able to register for free. But we look forward to seeing your face. Bring a family member, bring a friend. What do you say, Mikka? What's your tagline?
Bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a neighbor, bring anybody. Just meet us there at Hy-Vee Arena, 4 o'clock on Tuesday, September 21st.
Yes. Look forward.
Remember, they're giving away money. They're coming prepared to give out scholarships.
I'll be here.
That'll work. That'll work.
Well, thank you everyone for joining in, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks so much.